Okay, this video tutorial is going to show you how to play back video on the DVR interface. This is when a monitor is directly connected to the DVR. This is not through a computer. This is not the web interface. So here we have a monitor connected directly to the DVR. Now what we're going to do is we want to play back. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to search. If you're not already logged in, it'll ask you to log in first, and then it'll take you to search. By default, it's going to bring up the 4-camera view. So there's 4 cameras over here. It shows that we're on the 4-camera view. And down here, it displays 4 cameras. Now, if you select something beyond 4 cameras, it doesn't show more than that. It'll actually go back to 1 line, but all 9 cameras are in there. You see I have 9 cameras selected, and it'll do it on 16. But for 4, it actually shows 4 lines. So then what I like to do is I like to play back on 1 view. I think it makes things simpler. And I'm going to select the 16th. You can also, if you need to go back a month, you can select the back arrow or the forward arrow and move back and forth on the months also. So I've selected the 16th. I'm going to select camera 7. And then I'm going to imagine that somebody came and vandalized my house. So I know that I left at 11 o'clock and I didn't see it happen then. So I'm going to click on 11 and I'm looking. And so I start watching, and shortly after I left, somebody came up and vandalized my house. So now I see when it happened. I have the video. So now what I'm going to do is I'm looking at the video and I say, okay, I want to back this up. So I want to get, let's say I want to get from 11:10 to 11:15. There's a couple of ways to do this. First of all, you can come over here to the bottom right and you can click on the 30-minute timeline, which will change this timeline to 30 minutes. Right now it represents 24 hours. On the right side we see 24. Over on the left side we see 0. 0 is midnight, 24 is midnight, and everything in between is the hours for the day. So 8 would be 8 o'clock in the morning, 20 would be 8 o'clock at night. That's military time. So when I click on this right here, the 30-minute, it changes this timeline into a 30-minute timeline. So now we see on the left side it's 11 o'clock, and on the right side it's 11:30, and we're down to 3-minute segments here. So now I can back this up a couple of different ways. The first way I can do it is simply click on this little menu here. It's called File List. And I said that I wanted to back up from 11:10 to 11:15. So I can click here. I can click on 11:10, and that's going to back up 5 minutes of recording. So if I click that, and then I come down here to the little file disk here, and I say back up, it takes me to this interface here. So here, down in the bottom section, it shows that we have 1 file from 11:10 to 11:15. It shows me the file size. I have a USB drive stuck in the DVR. That's where I'm going to back it up. I'm not actually going to back it up. I'm not going to take time to do it, but it shows you that there's a USB drive in there, and you need to select it. If you have more than 1 USB drive stuck in your DVR, which I wouldn't recommend to do that, but I would only do 1 at a time. And so you select the USB drive, then you select the file, and then you would click backup, and then it would back this file up to that. That is a very simple way of doing that. It's going to back up 5 minutes at a time. The other way to do it, I'm going to clear this out. I right click and I get rid of that. The other way to do it is that I simply could click on the timeline. Let's say I want to back up from 11:18. So I click on 11:18, and then I go up here to the scissors, right here where it says video clip, and I click that once. Now notice that it has 11:18 and 7 seconds. So that's where my recording starts. And let's say I want to go to 11:27, and I click on 11:27, and then I click on the scissors again, and notice I have 11:27 and 4 seconds. Now I click on the same backup disk over here, and it brings me up to this. So now I see here I have 11:18, and I wanted to go to 11:27, so I'm going to 11:27. So from the very first file, from the start time is 11:18. I go over here to the end time. The last file is 11:27. So all of those files are selected. Again, my USB file or disk is selected, and I simply click Backup, and then it backs up to the file disk. It is that simple. My preference would be to use this list here. If you're going to use this list here, what you need to do is that the entire 24-hour period is not going to show up in this list. So for example, right now we see it starts at 10:55. But let's say I want to back up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so I'm going to click Stop. I'm going to click at 3 o'clock, and then I'm going to click File List. Now look where we're at. We start earlier. This probably actually goes back to midnight. Starts at midnight, and it'll take us all the way down to 10:30 in the morning. So if I wanted to back up at 3 o'clock, there is my 3 o'clock. I can back up 3 o'clock, or I can back up several of them. I just select the ones that I want, and again I would click the file disk down here, and there it puts it all in the queue to be backed up. I select my USB disk, make sure these are all checked, and I say backup. Now you need to have a thumb drive, a USB thumb drive, big enough to be able to hold all this. If it's not big, if you buy a little one, say like a 4 megabyte or even a 4 gig, you may find that it's not big enough, and then this will tell you that it's not big enough. Okay, so that really is all there is to it. In order to stop the video, you got 2 ways you can do it. You can simply click Stop, or you can simply right click and it'll shut it off. Let me show you one more thing. If you're playing back 4 at a time, and then you come down here and you click on the timeline, let's click say at 9 o'clock. So now we're watching at 9 o'clock. See, we got a bad camera here. So we're looking, it says 8:58, 8:58, 8:58, 8:58. So it's playing them back all at the same time. So now if we go to the file list, again we can select. It shows that we have several different lists here. I'm sorry, those are cameras. And then now we can select it and we can back it up. So now if I right click, they all go away. And that is all there is to it. I hope this video tutorial was helpful to you. Have a good day.